Since the first thing you do is to focus on stabilizing, and so that's what we're focused on. Bringing interest rates down, bringing inflation down, stabilizing the currency, dealing with the debt overhang, and that's where our focus is for now.
At this particular moment, President for the Fourth Republic of Ghana, under the Ninth Parliament, and the first gentleman of the land, His Excellency John Dwayne Mahama Busia, or trendy pay, baby, or trainer, and yan the bonnet so. Mahama Eko PMO ewo Germany for African Business Forum. Na eho no okoka ensem na busia ensem okan no, in fact amanfo kire se Mahama kasa nyansem no akire se we leader aha e Penyah block media mesrewa se eni die mo obe like video na dawo ma obe subscribe button na so be click notification icon no na ba kire wadwen ema me ewo comment section na be share video no ama wonia so enya bi ahwe eti enra ana Mahama ekopie mo Germany for African Business Forum just say ekwanya Africa countries no be fa so etimi etumpon or in terms of development ene niema betima ye de etumpon omugo hia gwatire o madwene na ho na ana Mahama ekasa etini kasa hya de okasa on how to stabilize the economy.
Since the first thing you do is to focus on stabilizing, and so that's what we're focused on. Bringing interest rates down, bringing inflation down, stabilizing the currency, dealing with the debt overhang, and that's where our focus is for now. But at the same time, to analyze the factors that got Ghana into this place in the first place, and put in the steps that ensure that we don't end up here again. And so that would entail looking at the Fiscal Responsibility Act and strengthening it, looking at the Public Financial Management Act and strengthening it, so that tomorrow we don't have a situation where a minister, goes onto the Eurobond market and borrows 11.5 billion over 5 years and puts most of it into consumption. Those are some of the things we need to look at. We need to look at our debt management departments and strengthen it so that it's able to provide information to the public on what our debt trajectory is and keep it being below a certain ceiling. We need to introduce an independent value for money office so that we're making sure that our projects are coming in at the right value and at the right cost. We need to make sure that we cut out waste, reduce corruption. Those are all things that have to be dealt with, and that's what the new government is struggling with.
Billions of dollars just to feed. Make sense. Ninyina emwa system no emwa economy no entim enyina na Mahama we na oba trade concerning trading because or hit hard on that.
But talking about trade and adding value, which is why we're here, I think that we must look at the comparative advantages we have as Africa and unashamedly exploit those advantages. And I can see that in the place of agriculture and agribusiness. I can see it in the area of our natural resource endowment. How are we indigenizing these natural resources? In the past, we didn't have capital, we didn't have the technology. And so large multinational companies came and took huge concessions and they exploited it to their advantage. A lot of the benefits from exploitation of our natural resources went to the metropolitan capitals. Today, the capital is available if you want it and you look for it. Today, the technology is available. We have situations in Ghana where in the gold mining industry, the bulk of the mining actually is done by indigenous companies. You find a multinational company only where the gold is being poured. And so if we do all the mining, we do the drilling, we do the blasting, we do the crushing, we fill the crushing plants. We can do the last mile of also pouring the gold and making sure that the benefits of that gold come to our country.
And we see cocoa. Also Ghana, in fact, Ghana, your largest export products, cocoa, and good. And what terms of Ghana, your capacity, I think it's exporting up to 500,000 tons of cocoa every year. Now, so you're exporting only 200,000.
The same with cocoa. We've exported cocoa beans for God knows how many years, and still we export cocoa beans. There's some processing capacity, it's about 30%, We have the capacity to process almost 500,000 tons of cocoa, but we're not processing that much. We're processing at about 200,000 tons because the cocoa board that needs to be extracted believes that it gets immediate foreign exchange when the beans are traded, and we sell for it, and so they get the money in advance before we even export one bean.
And as I was telling you, even that 200,000 kwana team export and bad, but I was say your team switch here in every exporting just the raw cocoa beans to exporting finished product. Or the team converting cocoa to chocolate, what I say to choco, any other say by and it can create more employment opportunities for we the citizens in this country.
But bringing the value addition home will be bringing jobs back so that our young people can get jobs to do, especially putting that processing in the areas where the cocoa is grown. And that's why we're excited about the initiative between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, because together we produce about 80% of the world's cocoa. And so if we coordinate and work together, not only in terms of improving production, but also in terms of processing and bringing processing up to that chocolate, that last chocolate home, will create more jobs for our young people, because we all recognize that with a growing youth population, yes, it's an advantage for Africa, but if we're not creating opportunities for these young people, then it becomes a ticking time bomb. And so we need to look at all those areas. Ghana has also oil and gas. We don't have the technology to exploit the gas, especially in deep water. So you need partnerships. But once that gas has been produced, how much of the oil are we refining locally? We've done well with gas because we're using the gas to fire our thermal plants to produce electricity. And Ghana has a comparative advantage when it comes to the West African power pool to export power to our neighbors, to Burkina Faso and Niger. And so bringing on more gas, putting in an increased capacity to process that gas and produce electricity will be adding value to the natural resource and exporting that power and using some locally. One area we need to concentrate on, yes, it's good, we have the African Continental Free Trade Area, but there are obstacles to trading amongst ourselves. And that is because the trade facilitation infrastructure is not available. Roads that lead between our countries are nothing to write home about. We don't have the rail transportation. We don't have the ports. We need expanded ports that are faster, handle goods in a faster way. And that's why I think that we must focus on what we call the trade corridors. In West Africa, we have the Abidjan-Lagos corridor. We don't have an expressway between the four countries that constitute, the five countries that constitute the corridor. There's been a lot of work on it from when I was vice president. We signed the initial MOU. I think we've made some progress. It's now left with looking for the financing to put the expressway in so that we can move goods from Lagos to Abidjan through Benin, Togo, and Ghana, and be able to trade easily amongst ourselves. I know there are more other corridors that exist, Lobito, Durban to Lubumbashi and all that. How can we improve these corridors, improve the infrastructure so that we can seamlessly exchange goods and services amongst ourselves? I think that's what's important. The African Continental Free Trade Area was a very important breakthrough. We've been working on this for God knows how many years, and we're happy that we have it at last. But how do we remove the obstacles to trade amongst ourselves? I think this is one issue that we should be looking at.
Just in fact, Mahama Smoke can honor the in fact or Kasa Nyansem and according to many people, they are applauding him for speaking in wisdom. But Chelsea Ghana, in fact, your leader, or junior or minor on a nim dear ewe chiri or dosuko ewo stabilizing the economy any moving country forward or dosuko ewo. It's media no say e don't do na ebo Mahama abaso ewo ensema or can a honor. Na Mahama nyame adom obedu fia sumdwe aje say her excellency Jina no pokwadma echo we come ewo airport wa nyame chade ye president asabe kan yen sebiem aha Penyah block media obetuma tele wadwene ewo comment section bakra